Okay, this is the Volkswagen 1986 Cabriolet convertible. And as you can see, it's in pretty darn good shape. It's got about 52,000 miles on the odometer. It's got leather seats. There's some tearing to the driver's side seat. That right there is your steering wheel. It's a leather steering wheel, and those four buttons there, those are the horns. And you can see the tearing to the driver's seat. Looks like a little bit of wear. And that section there, that's cloth. So it's not completely leather all throughout. And that's the cover for the top. And as I said, this is a convertible. That's in very good shape, with the exception, and you can see it right by the passenger side mirror, there was some damage that occurred there. And you can see it just barely had some dents pulled in it. There's still some dents there, and I'm zooming in on it right now. And it also extends forward to the passenger side fender. As you can see, there was some touch up done there. Some dents were pulled. Overall, it's in very good shape for its age. Nearly 40 years old. I have no idea what that thing does on the top and the roof, but I haven't really messed with anything inside there. I have checked the oil. The oil is turning tan. It hasn't been changed in quite a while, probably. I'd say a couple of years. Um, all the fluids are good. Everything checks out. And the car runs perfect, except for at the very end of this video, you're going to see a cold startup. It died a few times after I started it up. I'm not sure if it's because the gas is old, or if it just needs to idle for a while to warm up. Of course, it was pretty cold here. It's below freezing, and that can be a big factor in the reason why it would die and stall. Uh, but the car is mostly sat, and it looks like it's been indoors pretty much the whole time. I haven't been able to find much rust on the vehicle. I'd say little to none. And the battery's good and hot. I've kept it charged. In this next video, I'm showing you how to remove the cover in order to put the top up. There's a lot of wind this day, and I was lucky enough to have a nice sunny day to demonstrate all this. But as you can see, the inside of the top cover, it looks like it's a little bit dirty. And that's showing you how that connects to where the windshield is at. This is actually my first time trying to do this, and with having the phone in one hand, it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, as you can see. When the damage occurred to the front passenger side, the that passenger side mirror was cracked. You can't see it here, but I replaced the glass, so now it's pretty much fine. It's no longer cracked. I actually just went over the cracked mirror. and I've been putting the cover in the trunk of the car. And it's the original cover, and it's leather, and it's in very, very good shape. And surprisingly, after I got the hang of it, it really wasn't all that tough to take that up or put it back down. Only takes a few minutes. The gas cap, I actually have the key for that. It's located inside the ashtray, and I haven't been able to get it to work like it's supposed to. I don't think. Maybe because I don't know how to use it, but it's there, and I believe it's the original part, so I just left it alone. And the windows go up, and it's pretty much ready to go. And this color is actually Mars Red. The official designation is the LA3A. And that's in the trunk of the vehicle if you want to look that up. You'll see that here in a minute or so. It's actually got a 13.8 gallon fuel tank. It's got a range of about 400 miles or so. It gets about 30 miles to the gallon most of the time, but if you're driving around town and such, it may only get about 25. And this is a 360 view with the top up. Top's in very, very good shape as well. Pretty much the whole car is. That's not a plastic rear windshield, that's actually glass. Something that really surprised me, having a leather top, having a glass windshield. And this vehicle is front wheel drive. It's got a 1.8 liter 95 horsepower engine. The engine is inline, single overhead cam, and water cooled 4-cylinder. And the transmission's a 5-speed. And you'll see here in a minute, but the boot, this is the back. It looks really good too inside there. And that's the placard with the paint coat on it. There's a little bit of other information there I'm not really sure what to make of. And that's mine. That's just my blanket used to throw on the seat so I don't tear up the seat anymore. Or so that the seat doesn't get torn up anymore than it is. But you'll also see the plastic on the ground where my shoes are at. That water puddle there by the vehicle tire, that's just because of the snow on the ground. And because I went through a puddle. There's no leaks in the vehicle that I've seen. And these are the placards. That's the weight and tire sizing. There's a VIN number there as well. Serial number is 13663. And that's just to keep it clean. But yeah, it's in great shape. Same as everything else in this thing. Just a little piece of dirt from my shoes. The stereo doesn't work too well, but you'll see that in a minute. And there's the key for the little gas cap. All the gauges work perfectly. Those down there are the audio cassette tapes. They're supposed to pop open pretty easy, but they're not. I don't know. I doubt anybody's going to use them. They're there, but I guess they're not perfect. And as you can see there, that's the shifter. The boot is pretty much worn out. Um, that might be replaced by the next owner or not. I mean, like I said, it's probably original. The shifter itself is actually leather as well, and it looks like it has some pretty good wear on there. Steering wheel is pretty good shape. I don't think there's any need to replace the steering wheel unless you wanted to. Like I said, the shifter, it's a little bit worn and the boot's pretty much gone. It can be replaced. I don't think you can bring that boot back to life. Glove compartment's in good shape and it's lockable. I don't recall seeing a key for it, unfortunately. And it does have all the original owner's manuals and paperwork, but it looks like they have some water damage to it. They may not be readable. Um, I don't think this car's ever flooded. I don't know how it is that they became water damaged, but there's no indication that flooding ever occurred. And this isn't exactly the right region for it. This came out of Colorado originally, and I'm in Wyoming, so headrests are in good shape. Door covers are in great shape. I love those crank windows, and that's an adjustable review or side mirrors. And this is the test drive. And in order to make this thing go in reverse, it's kind of a trick to it. You have to push down the pedal, push down the shifter into the ground, and then move it into first gear. So it's almost like you're going into first gear, except you're pushing it towards the ground. And that's how you go in reverse. So first gear and reverse are in the same spot. It's kind of tricky. You have to kind of get a feel for it. But this little car is really fun to drive. I really enjoy driving this car. You'll see why here in a minute. I didn't push it too hard, but it does get pretty peppy. And like I said, the side mirrors are remote operated. You can operate them from inside. It's pretty easy to change those. The sun visors are swivel and they're also leather.
Power off.
The I haven't had this car too long. I actually bought it with the intent to resell, as it's a pretty nice classic and it should be going to people that'll use it, that treat it like a classic it is. And the camera's a bit jerky, unfortunately. One good thing about this is that it has that shift light. You can hardly see it on the display there, but whenever the vehicle needs to be shifted, it has a little orange light that points forward, basically letting you know that it's time to shift upwards. It helps maximize the fuel economy. One bad thing about this vehicle is the stereo system really sucks. The FM does not seem to work at all. The tape deck works sometimes. Uh, Sometimes it doesn't change stations. Sometimes it does. Uh, I believe it's the original car stereo, and it's just not. It's just not a very good car stereo. But I was listening to some music here shortly. You'll hear it. Right now I'm going about 30 miles an hour, maybe 35, but I've got it in fourth gear. No, it looks like it might be in fifth. But yeah, there's 5 gears there. There's no power steering, and that's the big thing with this vehicle. Is it was one of the options available in '86. However, um, it was never installed. There was no power steering in this. There's no power steering in this vehicle. It's a rack and pinion, and it's manual, so you have to have some arm strength in order to turn this thing. There's no cruise control in it either. One of the downsides to this vehicle is that those were never put in there. But once this vehicle warms up, it's actually a pretty good vehicle. Right now I'm checking the heat, and it blows nice and hot. I don't think there's any air conditioning. I couldn't get it to turn on any air conditioning, so it's just a fan. On the side windows, you have those windows that turn out with one of those Volkswagen features that were really awesome. You could turn the window outward so it directs all the air right onto you. No, those things work really good. In fact, if you live in a colder climate, they're preferable to air conditioning because they won't cost any gas mileage. But this is heading onto the freeway here and opening up the car a little bit, which is really fun because this is kind of a small and fun car to drive. This car has a top speed of about, the factory says it's 98 miles per hour. Tests indicate that it's about 102 before it redlines. I got it up to about 75 or 80 here, probably closer to 75. 0 to 60 in I think about 10 or 12 seconds. I wasn't going that fast, but I didn't move my RPMs more than I think like 3,000 RPM. There's no drift. There is no pull on the steering wheel. The tires are good. There's plenty of tread left on the tires. They're lined well. And like I said, there's no pull on the steering wheel. It runs straight. There was a lot of wind this day. It was unusually windy. And the vehicle did pretty darn good considering the high wind. Usually I would be concerned because it has that leather top, but it wasn't affected at all. I would say about 20 miles an hour. I heard somewhere that the car horn was two-toned, although I didn't notice that. And once again, acceleration. And right now you can see the passenger side rearview mirror. It's got a new piece of glass on it. Actually, underneath that new piece of glass, there's a cracked mirror. It basically was just a piece of double-sided tape that stuck the new piece of glass over the old one. What happened was the damage on the side of the vehicle was because an antelope, there's a lot of those running around here, hit the side of the car. I imagine as she was driving. I don't think she hit it. I think the antelope actually hit the car, and it shattered that driver's side or passenger side mirror, and also caused some damage to the passenger side door and that front quarter panel. A lot of the damage has been worked out by me and been touched up, repainted. The paint's kind of hard to come by, but I had to make some paints from 2 existing colors to do the touch-up work. And then it's been polished. But yeah, it looks pretty good. There could be some work done to the side. You could probably use some additional dent pulling, but you'd have to have a professional for that, because I'm not. And this is highway speed. I think I got it up. I think I was going about 55 or 65, or not too fast. But I just wanted to show what it's like on the highway. It's really a fun car to drive. One thing I did notice is that the heat doesn't seem to blow out the center vents. I didn't play with it too much, but I did notice that. Not sure if it's a problem, I just don't know how to use it right. I haven't had this car for very long. And at the very bottom right hand corner you can see that cup holder. Those pockets down there are the plastic ones. They're actually map holders. And that cup holder slides right into that map holder. Not sure if that was factory stock or just thrown in there later, but it's kind of cool. Those 3 gauges down there by the shifter. One of them's for voltage, one of them's for temperature, and one of them's pressure. All of them work, and there's some pictures of them on the listing. Like I said, the battery is good and hot. Maintains about 12.6 volts. Starts up easy enough, just having you just have to let it warm up. To be fair, I hadn't started the vehicle in a couple of weeks when I had trouble starting it. So it had been sitting a while, and there's no telling how old the gas is. Not a lot of miles are put on this thing. But other than the stalling when you first start it up, it runs perfect. And that pretty much concludes the test drive portion. Now I'm going to show the hard starting portion. And this is to kind of demonstrate the fact that it died like 3 times. And it hadn't been started in a while, so. I kind of let it warm up for a second. In hopes that it wouldn't die, but it did anyway. Right then. Probably should have left it in gear. I wanted to include this in the video just as an honest perspective of this vehicle. I mean, it is from the 1980s and it's old, and I believe this is a carbureted engine. It may be a naturally aspirated, but it is an older vehicle. There's no telling how long it's been since the spark plugs have been checked. Um, but between the air filter, I haven't looked at that either. The spark plugs and the old fuel, if there is old fuel in there, I'm not sure. I haven't checked, and I haven't filled it up yet. And the miles that you see going on it right now are pretty much the only ones that I put on it, other than driving it home. But that was only about 20 miles. Yeah, and then it died again. It's still cold, and like I said, it's cold outside. There's still snow on the ground, and it hasn't been above freezing in a while. It didn't die at all after it warmed up. And that's pretty much the end of the that one. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know.